I'm going to end this slideshow with what is called the final status issues. These are the issues that have kept the peace from flourishing in this region, and in particular, what has been the barrier for Israeli and Palestinian agreement. These issues, it's gotten even worse. Um, I'm not going to get into it, but their Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who has been in power for quite some time, is very much neglectful of these issues, and our own President Donald Trump has also been very neglectful of these issues. So I'll comment when I can, but what has kept the two sides from coming to an agreement for all these years are some of the following. One, the borders, which I've already talked about, right? As you can see, the borders are increasingly encroached upon by Israel. Israel has built living communities within the Palestinian borders, which at this point nobody wants to uproot. There's been talks about exchanging lands. It's been very complicated because Israel has literally taken over Palestinian land, and now it's like, well, we have people here now. What are you going to do? So this particular issue is very difficult. The other very difficult issue that's kind of become relevant under Donald Trump is the status of Jerusalem. So Jerusalem is a major city, as we've talked about, for all three faiths, but technically it is not the capital of of Israel. And it is not the capital of Israel because Jerusalem is in such dispute, specifically between Palestinians and Muslims and Israeli Jews. The Israeli capital is Tel Aviv. Along with that, just as an aside, the United States didn't have its embassy in Jerusalem. If you remember, we talked about what an embassy was earlier in the year, but that's basically our government's footprint in Israel. We refused to have our embassy in Jerusalem in order to honor the Palestinians' wishes and the controversy over Jerusalem and who it belongs to. And the United States also had our embassy in Tel Aviv. This changed. Tel Aviv is a city in Israel. The only other city, really. Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. This changed with Donald Trump. And Donald Trump very much pushed to have the United States move its embassy to Jerusalem to show the United States support of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Now, this is a huge, huge deal and a huge change in U.S. The U.S. Position regarding Israel and Palestine. Before Israel, the United States respected the Palestinians' claim to Jerusalem. In particular, Jerusalem is kind of divided between East and West Jerusalem. East is more Palestinian dominated, and that is where I stayed and lived when I was there. And then West is more Israeli Jew dominated, Jewish dominated. And never the twain shall meet. Very few Palestinians go into the West Jerusalem, and very few Jews come into East Jerusalem. However, most of the holy sites, if not all of the holy sites, are in East Jerusalem. So for Jews to come to the Western Wall, when some of you saw how emotional and intense that is, they have to come into East Jerusalem, right? All of the holy sites are there. So while the Palestinians have been willing to divide Jerusalem into East and West, the Israelis have been unwilling to divide Jerusalem into East and West, largely because of the holy sites and probably some other reasons about land and things like that. So Jerusalem has been a major issue, but the United States has, under Donald Trump, has taken a side, which never happened before.